the king of Israel, sent Amaziah trying to get with him and make a pact, but he wouldn't do it. So Israel overcame Judah, and they fought, and then they overcame them. Israel took the gold out of the house of the Lord and returned. So Israel fought against Judah, and Jehoahaz slept with his fathers and was buried in Samaria, and Jeroboam was the king of Israel. Amaziah died because people made a conspiracy against him, so he fled and he died in another place. And they brought him back and buried him. And they took Azariah to be king of Israel. Now Azariah, I believe, so Azariah is the king of Judah. So Jeroboam's reigning in Israel, he did that which was evil, but he restored a bunch of land which was prophesied by Jonah, and everything that he did is he died, and Zechariah's the king of Israel. So now Azariah did that which was right in the Lord's eyes, but he was a leper, so he died, and Jotham was the king of Israel after he died, his son. So Zechariah did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, did not depart from the ways. And Shallum conspired against him and killed him, and then Shallum's the king, and then somebody conspired against him and killed him, and then somebody else is the king, and then Menahem's the king. And then he did that which was evil, and Syria came against them, and they paid them off, and they turned away. Then he died, and then Pekahiah is the king of Israel, and then he lived and did that which was evil. But Pekah, the son of Relah, conspired against him and killed him. So now Pekah is the king of Israel. And then he did that which was evil. And then Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, took Ijon and somebody else, I can't pronounce the name, and they carried away all the land of Naphtali captive to Assyria. So Naphtali's gone. They're in Assyria now. The tribe of Naphtali is gone. They're out. They're in Syria, or Assyria. And Hoshea, the son of Elah, made conspiracy against Pekah and killed him. Now Hoshea is the king of Israel. So now Jotham is the king of Judah. He did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. He didn't remove the high places. Then Syria was fighting against Judah, and Pekah, the king of Israel, fought against him. Jotham died, and Ahaz was the king of Judah. So Ahaz walked in the way of the kings of Israel. He sacrificed his sons, did human sacrifices. So they came. King of Syria and the king of Israel came to war with Jerusalem, but couldn't overcome them for David's sake. And then Ahaz sent messages to the king of Assyria to help him and pay tribute. So the king of Syria went and overtook Israel and Syria. Then they made a little bond there, basically. So now Hoshea is the king of Israel. He felt conspiracy against Hoshea. So the king of Egypt, and then basically Israel was overtaken by Assyria and taken captive. So now Samaria's besieged by Assyria, and Israel is just besieged by Assyria. For the Lord put them out of his sight, because they wouldn't turn to him and hearken to his commandments. So the men of Babylon, Assyria, I'm not sure if that's the same thing, because Assyria is more north and Babylon's more south. The king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, so it's not the same place. But the Lord was angry at Israel, moved them out of his sight, yet there was none left but the tribe of Judah. And Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord either, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they had made. And the Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, and afflicted them, and delivered them into the hands of the spoilers, and cast them out of his sight. So now Judah is the only one left, saving the tribe of Benjamin, which is a smaller tribe, which is within the parts of Judah. So Hoshea the king of Israel Hezekiah is the king of Judah. Now he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. He removed the high places. He cleaned it up. He clave to the Lord and departed not from following him, kept his commandments which the Lord commanded Moses. The Lord was with him, and he prospered. He rebelled from the king of Assyria. He smote the Philistines even unto Gaza, and the borders thereof, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And then, so he did that which was good. Now Hezekiah, the king of Assyria, came up against him. So now they appointed them tribute. So Hezekiah paid them off so they wouldn't bother them. So they went their way again. And then, Hezekiah's telling them, trust in the Lord, trust in the Lord. People's like, don't listen to him. They're stronger than us, And then, Hezekiah heard it and stuff, and then basically they threatened him again. He rent his clothes and put sackcloth on him. And then Isaiah told him not to be afraid, because the servants of Assyria has blasphemed me, and I'll send a blast, and they'll hear it, and they'll return to their own land by the sword, and they'll fall by the sword of his own hand. So basically, the king of Assyria dies. And then somebody else leads in his stead, because the Lord delivered them out of the hand of Assyria at that time. And then basically then Hezekiah gets sick, and there was a war with Babylon, with Assyria. 400 score and 5,000 died. And then the king's son killed him. Basically, yeah, the king of Assyria died, and then somebody else is reigning in his stead. So now Hezekiah was sick, and he wept, and then the Lord added 15 years to his life. Then he got better, and then he talked to the king of Babylon, and then he showed him the house of the Lord, and then basically Isaiah told him, since you did that, you did foolish, and then now they're going to take everything from you now. So he died, and then Manasseh, his son, reigned in his stead. So Manasseh was 12 when he reigned. He did that which was evil. He did the abominations, built altars again, child sacrifices, used enchantments and wizards, familiar spirits. They hearkened not to the Lord and did more evil than the nations that were there before them. And basically then God said, I will forsake the remnant of mine inheritance, and deliver them into the hands of their enemies, and they shall become prey and spoil for their enemies, because they done this in my eyes. Manasseh shed innocent blood. He was evil. So he died, and Amon reigned in his stead. He was evil. He forsook the Lord, and his servants killed him, and they made Josiah, his son, king instead. So Josiah repaired the temple. Then the priest found the book of the law, and they brought it and read it. Just think, they found it. They found the book of the law. Where was it at the whole time? And they recovered it. They found it. I mean, you think how dusty that was? We need to recover our book to get ourselves together, which is the Bible. So that's what he did. They recovered it, and they got itself together, and they read it to everybody. They say, God's forsaken us. His anger's kindled against us. So then, so the Lord's going to let him die in peace and not see the evil that's going to come upon the land, because his heart was tender and he humbled himself. So they stood by the pillar, made a covenant to walk before the Lord. And all the people stood there and basically did the thing. He reforms the nation. He kills all the wicked priests, all the altars, all the groves. He breaks down the houses of the Sodomites that were in the house of the Lord, by the house of the Lord, where the women wove hangings for the groves. And then he cleaned it up, basically. He went through and did a cleanup, house cleaning, which is what we need to do in our lives. He killed all the priests he killed that were wicked. He slew all the priests on the high places that were upon the altars. There was no king like him before him that turned to the Lord with all his heart, and there was none after him. But the Lord still had his mind set because of what Manasseh had done to get rid of Judah out of the land. And then Joash went to war with Egypt against Assyria and died there, and they brought him back and buried him. And Jehoahaz, his son, reigned in Jerusalem. He did that which is evil in the sight of the Lord. And then Egypt put him to tribute. And they took him, turned his name into Jehoiakim, and he died in Egypt. And Jehoiakim gave silver and gold to Pharaoh. And then Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign. And he did that was evil according to what his father's done. Okay, I guess he didn't die there. Jehoahaz died there. Okay, so Jehoiakim. They made Eliakim, the son of Joaz, king. Okay, Eliakim's the king. They turned his name Jehoiakim. And they took Jehoahaz, and he died in Israel. So his son Jehoiakim's there. Now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years, and then he rebelled. So they sent the bands of the Chaldees, and bands of the Moabites, bands of the children of Ammon, and sent forth to destroy Judah. according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by the prophets. And then Jehoiakim slept with his father's daughter, and Jehoiachin reigned in his stead. So king of Egypt didn't come no more out of the land, because the king of Babylon took a lot of the land. And Jehoiachin did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. And Babylon came up to Jerusalem and besieged it. Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. And they carried out the treasures of the Lord, carried away all Jerusalem and the princes captives. They carried away Jehoiachin to Babylon, and the king's mother and the king's wives, everybody. All the men of might, even 7,000 of craftsmen. And the king of Babylon made his father's brother king over Jerusalem, and changed his name to Zedekiah. He did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. And Zedekiah rebelled against the prince of the king of Babylon. So the city was besieged and broken. There was famine in the land of Jerusalem whenever they moved the other people out. And they pursued and killed them. And they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him on fetters of brass, and carried him to Babylon. So now he burnt the house of the Lord. So the temple's burnt. He burnt Jerusalem. They broke down the walls of Jerusalem round about. And the rest of the people that was left, they took them away, fugitives, to be servants and bondsmen. And then let the poor people stay there. And then so then they took everything, and then he makes a governor over Jerusalem. And then they basically, what did he do here? Then after the 13th year, Jehoiachin, king of Judah, another king of Babylon, Evil-Merodach, began to reign. He lifted up the head of Jehoiachin, the king of Israel, king of Judah, out of prison, spoke kindly to him, and made him a king in Babylon. He changed his garments, and he ate good, and he got the daily rate of a king all the days of life. Jehoiachin did. But basically what happened too is, in the land of Israel, when they got captive, they sent people over there, and they died by the lions. And then so they got a priest there of the Levites to teach them to fear the Lord. So they feared the Lord, but did their own religious worship too from their own country. And the lions didn't bother them, so they could survive in the land of Israel. And you think about that. We fear the Lord, but we do our own thing, our own styles of worship, our own styles of faith. But we fear the God. We know He's real. And I think a lot of that is really a mess, because we believe God's real, but we don't fully serve Him. And it really messes it up, because we're getting the short end of the stick of true peace and true worship to the Lord. But now let's see, in this last part, Gedaliah, they made a governor in the land of Judah.